Hey everyone, Eric Petrus here. If you've ever thought about turning your guitar repair skills into a real business or even just making some side income, this video is where it all begins. This is a live session from my Guitar Repair Business Starter course, and in this one we break down chapter 1. It's where I show you how to get started fast with a minimal investment. You'll learn the 3 pillars of success: how to choose your services, how to get visibility online, and how to build your essential toolkit. If you stick around, you'll see live demonstrations of setup techniques, business tips, even how to get 5-star reviews from day one. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week we're diving into business preparation, customer service, followed by marketing, fret dressings, nut replacements, tuner installs, electronics, and even amp repair. So if you want to build a successful guitar repair business, this channel is where you'll learn exactly how to do it. I'm always thinking about, because the business is Guitar Repair Business Starter, phases of the business are obviously different than after you've already ingested a lot of the material. You know what you got to do, and you're just waiting on customers or trying to figure out how to get more customers and or how to improve what you're currently doing or how to keep up with the amount of customers that you have. But when you're first starting off, there's a couple of things that you can do to get started really quickly. The way it kind of I model it the same way that I got started. And a few students have done it this way and have been very successful as far as putting money in their pocket really quickly and efficiently. That's what it's all about. Not necessarily haphazardly, just really efficiently. The opposite of haphazardly. One thing that I liked about this business is I could put a relatively large amount of money in my pocket very quickly without investing very much money at all or really time. So I thought that was just really interesting how I could bootstrap a business with almost nothing. Like I really didn't invest anything and come up with a system that really generated money, like lots of money. I got my wallet is filled with cash. Like I didn't stage this, but it's feel like I got shit tons of money in it. And I try to keep it feel like that. And it's been like that for 5 years, ever since I opened the business, 5.5 years. So what there probably in the world, there are a bunch of different ways you could approach this. I think it's the most, said this a few times, the most efficient way to go from where you are now to putting money in your pocket. And it's sustainable in a way that you're building something that you're collecting 5-star reviews and you're going to get repeat customers and referrals. So it's something that's going to build and it's going to kind of snowball into the future. So man, after I saw a couple of these components fall into place with this business, I thought I've got to teach other people. It's not one of those deals where you gotta invest $10,000 to make 11,000. It's just when there's no ongoing like supplies, you're not building things with wood necessarily. So I was going to ask everybody that we have here, what's everybody's 5-star reviews if you're up and running? I have 245 star reviews. What do you guys got? If you
Think
have
I got
some.
27, I think.
That's awesome, Larry. Nice. Anybody else out in the world?
I'm up to 18. I've been doing
That's
this
awesome.
month right at a year, but my customer base is really growing. Everybody seems to be
Yeah.
very pleased. And so it's getting there. And I'm pretty excited. Had a real busy 2 weeks and several good reviews. So pretty excited, Eric.
Well, you'll get 18 your first year, but then you're going to get 50 your next year. That's
Yeah,
where you kind
I
of
think I will. I think you're probably right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's good. Cool. Or any other wins out there? Anybody want to share anything that's positive happening? Nothing. Amp repair is going pretty well for me. I haven't come across anything yet that I haven't been able to tackle. Don't have anything in the house right now. I guess I'm just waiting on something. Maybe I could do some more promotion or something. So I've been thinking about this for a while as far as how to really explain the business, like guitar or my way of explaining the business, the path that I show people with this course. And this is a very unique course. There's nothing on the market like this, not exactly like this anyway. I was definitely looking for this whenever I got started. There was nothing like this. I bought every single guitar repair business book that there was, and they were all crap, man. It was just It was disgusting what they were trying to sell. And I just knew immediately exactly what I wanted to do with it. And I started to have this, all the gears were started turning my head. And I really wanted to write a book. Like instead of building a course, I was just, the first thing was like, I'm going to write a book. I didn't even know courses existed. And then I found courses and I was like, I think I could teach this a little better with a course because you'd have videos and explanations and live videos and stuff like that. So there's three pillars. I'm going to use the word pillar. It's fancy. It reminds me of Greece or something, but these would be like the cornerstones of the business. And one is the essential services framework. There's about six services that are high profit and high frequency. So these are the ones that customers are going to ask for the most. 98% of the time they're going to ask for these. And these are the ones that you're going to make the most amount of profit on. There's not a lot of supplies that go into them, and there's not a lot of time that go into them. So if you focus your business on those essential services, you'll be in profits really quickly and you'll stay in profits. And if you really just focus on those six services and only kind of purchase what you need and you don't go haywire, then it's a very good business. Whenever you start to, you can do other stuff outside of the six services. God knows I do. I've got amp repair and all the other little things that I do, parts casters and stuff like that. But those six services, they have to be your core. The next is a targeted visibility method, a fancy word for making sure that your business name and your messaging and your marketing materials is in front of your customers. And your customers are going to be local customers within a 30-mile radius. You'll be able to connect with them best on Google search engine. And one of the most effective ways as far as paid advertising is Google Ads. But you don't have to use Google Ads. I have some set up, but I'm really not spending very much on them. But I have a really good organic Google presence. So investing in your Google presence, whether it be organic, which is the first way you should go, we'll cover this later in the course, or paid is probably one of the best ways you can go. But then there's social media. So you can really hit your audience and target your audience with Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, TikTok these days. So it's worth going in there and figuring it out. The next pillar would be the Guitar Repair Business Toolkit. There's certain things that I recommend. You don't have to buy everything that I recommend, but if you kind of keep it very tight and you buy the things I recommend, then I can guarantee that you'll make money with them and you'll get a very long life. Your customers are going to be happy and you're going to get a high likelihood of getting a 5-star review. So whenever I'll talk about this later. Anyway, the essential services framework is focusing on high profit, high frequency activities. Focus your tool purchases, your time and your learning investment, your website, and your marketing and your messaging on those essential services. So you want to focus all that stuff on that essential services. Those are setups, fret dressings, electronics, tuner replacements, nut replacements, and fret ends. Adding other things is great, but do them after you've got those top six down. Targeted visibility method is optimize your website for SEO. Turn your business into a 5-star review machine. Social media optimized for local followers. I would recommend Instagram, Facebook. I don't use a lot of TikTok, but we should probably get into it. It seems like they're going to be okay in America coming up. You can use sneaky ads like on Craigslist. In America, Craigslist is pretty legit, so a lot of people hang out there. You can put a sneaky little ad up, and I guarantee you'll get some customers from it. You can do like guerrilla marketing, like in person, in town. You can go around, you can shake hands, you can pass out business cards. If you want to go what I call expert, would be like an email marketing, like a newsletter, like I do, or even text marketing, SMS marketing. You can use Google Ads if you want to go from 0 to 100 really quick. Google Ads, like paid advertising, Facebook ads, those are available if you really want to drive customers in. And in the beginning, I had to start making money really quickly because I was broke. So I turned on the juice. I was using Facebook ads at first and really delivering customers with that. And then I went to Google Ads, but it can be done. The toolkit is your guitar repair tools. You definitely want to start with setups. And then I'd probably invest in like electronics and then stuff for fret dressings, fret ends, and then nut replacements. And you'll find the stuff for fret ends is not that much and nut replacements aren't that much, but you could even buy the stuff for setups and then do a couple of setups paid and make enough money to get your stuff for electronics and fret dressings. But like that stuff it's inexpensive, and if you stick with the stuff that I recommend, then you'll pay for it very quickly, and I think you'll be very happy. Also, like one of your toolkits is whatever you're using for your website, whether it be WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, that's one of your tools. And it'll be something that you have to pay for, whether it be month after month or like on a yearly basis. So looking at that as part of your toolkit, as part of an essential part of your toolkit, I think that we need to start doing that. What do you use for social media? Like Facebook, Instagram, you need to have that on your computer. You need to have it bookmarked so you can get there. TikTok, YouTube, you need to have that stuff set up as one of your tools. What are you going to use to edit videos or to make your pics look more professional? Probably Canva, which is free. You don't have to really upgrade to any of the premium features. I would recommend it. You can make things whatever size that you want and add a bunch of professional features like text overlays and stuff like that. What are you going to use in-house, like to take records? Like I have a little book, a little receipt book that I use to give people a receipt. And it also keeps track of everything that I have to do. What are you going to use to accept money? You got to have Square, like on your phone. If you're going to Venmo, you got to have that account set up. Cash App, if you're going to do that. What are you going to use to send invoices? I use my phone, which is what I would definitely recommend. But there's a couple apps on there that are all free, but you need to figure out what those apps are, and I'll show you all that. But it's all part of your toolkit, and you'll start to realize that another thing I like about this business is there's not that many tools, so it's not super complicated. And I've never tried to make it super complicated, kept it simple, and it's always worked very well. And I would recommend that to you as well. Don't try to overly complicate things, especially at first. Make it very simple. If you want to add some more complicated stuff later on, do that after you are already in a rhythm and after you know what's going on. Now, when you first start up with your toolkit, a lot of people are going to be, if you're first in the course, everybody's going to be focused on what tools do I need, this and that. Start with setups. Only what you're going to go over that tonight. Only what you need to do an excellent job and get a 5-star review. And shoot for no waste. That's what I would be going for. I wouldn't want to buy anything that I didn't want. So it was just like an efficient investment. Go with what you can afford. You can upgrade later. If it's a situation where you can't afford what you want, but you could afford a tool that would get you by, I would get the tools that you need to get going to start doing your setups. And maybe if it's not the most expensive screwdriver, who cares? But get started. You can always upgrade later. God knows that's what I did. With no waste and efficiency in mind, be careful investing in products other than what's on the list. There's a lot of products out there, and you're going to see it, and it's going to look like shiny diamonds and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I need that." It's gonna cost money, and do you really need it? Some items are perfectly okay, but like the Temu version of the fret dressing bar, I'm not sure. Like maybe you should just buy like the Stumac version of the fret dressing bar. So be careful on what you buy, what you try to save money on. What's the best way to eat an elephant? Starting a business and creating money from scratch and having people coming over to your house that you don't know and advertising to all these people and accepting guitars with unknown problems. It seems like this huge, gigantic thing. but it's one bite at a time. You just do one task at a time, put one foot forward and go at it like that. And that's exactly what this course was meant to be. It's just one step after another. And at the end, you're putting money in your pocket. It's gotten big. The course has gotten big. There's a lot of different chapters in there. I've been adding to it. You don't need to go over everything all at once. So it's not the type thing where you look at it and you see a ton of chapters and you're like, oh my God, I got to listen to all this. I got to find time for all of this, or else I won't have a complete education. Just go in there and get what you need whenever you need it. And then if you have time to binge, go after binge every once in a while and go deep on it. But you don't, I hope people aren't overwhelmed by the size of it right now. Some mindset tricks to open a business, to get through this, to learn something complicated, to make a big life adjustment. Show up to every live session. And if you can do office hours, I think all the students who've signed up, like within the past 3 months, have office hours built into their course. So if you can make it to office hours, do that, but try to show up to every single live session. Gratitude, say 5 things that you're grateful for every single day. Wake up and do that or go to sleep, whatever. Work on your business every single day. Do something. You could do a social media post. You could figure out how to use Canva. You could actually do a setup on a guitar. You could do something for your website. You could something for your business every single day. At least 15 minutes of personal development every single day. You can find a podcast. It doesn't have to be, it could be guitar repair related. You could listen to a guitar repair, some sort of podcast, but a podcast about personal growth or about anything you want, something that just develops your mind. And avoid the news for 1 month. If you really want to get started in an awesome way and not get distracted. God, man, we got to avoid the news. There's hardly anything good. So, as far as tasks and getting started, I would start thinking of a name. Just let it percolate. Start thinking of a name. Go to the naming your business section of the course and bounce it off the Facebook group. And you can send me an email. Think targeted, visibility, and SEO friendly. The main service that people want are setups, and the main thing they search for is guitar repair and guitar setups. So go through the course, listen to those videos, but you should think about how customers are going to find you and what would be the best name for customers to find you. Basically, that's the way I think. Think about this question: to give yourself the best shot in the market, is name wise, what should your name be? Like, what should your name be? And you don't have to finalize anything, just think about it. As far as tools go, get whatever you need to add to your tools. If you've already got screwdrivers and stuff, I wouldn't go and buy, but you don't have to buy expensive screwdrivers or anything like that. But if you've already got wire cutters, you don't have to go buy new wire cutters or anything like that. I would just get what you need, like the measurement tools like feeler gauges, string action gauge, stuff like that. Add to your existing stuff so that you can do a proper setup. But you need to be able to measure stuff properly. You have to go through the setup section of the course, but you don't have to make that much of an investment, especially if you're strapped for cash right now. Go to canva.com and set up a free account. And then Canva is where you can modify pictures and create videos. It's going to be very helpful, and I think you're going to need one. Another thing as far as tasks you can do, like this first week, even if you've got a 59 Les Paul burst or a Floyd Rose that's really tricky, get them out. We're going to set them up. It's the first thing that we should do. After you get your tools, find a place to work. It could be a bed. I started on a floor, a work table, but don't let not having a place to work stop you, because you can sit on the floor or you can use the end of your bed. So if somebody's out there, if somebody emails me and says, I can't get started because I don't have a work area, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I will come across the phone and get you, because you can work anywhere. You can even be, I had customers coming over. The first 6 months I didn't have a table. Like, I was making a ton of money. I was working on the floor. Find you a work mat. You can buy a professional work mat if you want, but you don't need one. You can use like a few towels if you want, a neck rest, just something where you can get started doing a setup. and then find you like a bucket or a container for your essential setup tools, and keep all your setup tools like in the same bucket. So you'll have your wire cutters, probably your screwdriver, feeler gauge, pliers, your favorite pair of soft touch pliers, probably a 4 millimeter Allen wrench, a 5 millimeter Allen wrench, your Les Paul truss rod nut, those sort of things that you're going to use all the time. Just and keep it all in one location. Set up your guitars and make a video. Even if it's your very first setup, make a video. Action, like videos, and do it on your phone. Videos of action is what people want to see. So if you're moving the tuning pegs, or if you're raising the bridge saddles, or if you're moving the intonation, or if you're changing the strings, if you can figure out a way to take the video on your phone and do something at the same time with your other hand, and do it. Or you can set your phone on something, but try to make a video of your first setup, just of doing it. And you can talk in the beginning. You could even take measurements in the very beginning of it and say, hey, this guitar, the action on it was 2 millimeters whenever I started. Let's see what it ends up as whenever I'm finished. And at the end of the video, now it's 1.6, whatever. Make a video of your first setup and then take it over to Canva and edit it. And what you can do is at the very top of Canva, it says, what would you like to make? Or what sort of whatever you want to make. Say, I want to make a Facebook video, and it'll bring you to a template, or I want to make an Instagram video. It'll bring you to a template where you can add like individual pictures or individual clips. It'll string them all together as a movie. You'll be able to modify the times and probably the speed, and then you'll be able to add audio, all kind of stuff. So make a simple video. So it's an extra little task that you have to do, but you can use this in your marketing efforts. And I want you to show off, and I want you to put it in the private Facebook group. I want to show off and say, here's a video of my first setup.
Eric,
But yes,
boss, I'm sorry, what is Canva? I have never heard of that.
www.canva.com.
Okay. Okay. Website. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Just go there now and start looking at it,
Yes, sir.
where you can modify pictures.
Gotcha.
And you can make videos as well. Anyway, it's going to be a good, you don't have to make videos and stuff, but it's going to be a good skill to have later on to put out some decent quality, like social media stuff. The better that you get at this stuff, the more customers you'll have. The more local followers you have that watch your videos, the more customers. The more creative you are, you look at the ones that people really like on social media. I'm sure you guys are following people. The better job that you do with them, the more followers you'll have, the more customers you'll have. So anyway, and it's fun. And I never gave this advice before, so this is the first semester. I want somebody to do it. A few details. I just did a classical guitar restring video, and it's in the setup section. I don't think I ever really did that one, but I have one that came out pretty good, so that's in there. Is there any would I'll send this out maybe via email, but would there be any interest in fret dressing mastery? It would be like 3 weeks, and it would be like on a Wednesday or a Thursday night or something, and all we would talk about is like fret dressings for 3 weeks. And it would be, I forget how much I charged, but I don't know, maybe $90 or something like that. Anyway, if you would be interested in something like that, you can send me an email. And if I get enough interested people, then I would do it. I'm going to run an office hours special again. It'll be $99 for 1 year, and I'm going to send that out too via email. And I'll have some website building assistance coming soon, and I'll be sending info on that via email, especially if you are in a situation where maybe the website deal or the marketing deal is really scary, and it's the last thing, it's like the last hump that you got to get over before you can start making money. Then let's go ahead and get it done. There's no excuses. Like after this semester, we should be ruling the world. We should all be making money. Setups. It is the number one service that customers ask for. It's the most requested by customers. I had a lot of limiting beliefs whenever I started this business. I had no idea what people are going to ask for. I was thinking like severe repairs, or I just had no idea really. But I could do a setup. It was the only thing I knew how to do. I was super happy that it was what everybody was asking for. And it accounts for approximately 86% of the guitar repair business. It is essential for improving playability, comfort, and tone. Really, guitars just aren't right without it. Most guitar players notice when their instrument is hard to play or it sounds off. Simple adjustments can drastically improve the feel and tone. It's an affordable service with a very high perceived value to customers, and that's where the magic happens for us because it's very low effort and high reward. It's very easy to learn. Mastering setups doesn't require years of apprenticeship. Every guitarist needs setups from beginners to professionals, and it's very profitable. There's lots of repeat customers and referrals from satisfied customers and five-star reviews. It's a very easy entry point. Setups are a great starting point because they're straightforward and effective. It's a linear process. So it's just a starting point and an ending point. You can quickly build skills, reputation, and business around this core service, and it's a foundation to branch out into other repairs if desired. We'll go over the tools later. Electric guitar setups. There are electric guitar setups, acoustic, Floyd Rose, and bass setups. Electric guitars are 51%. There's more electric guitars than acoustic guitars. The business usually starts with a new guitar needing a setup. Got a couple of those in now. Some initial measurements and adjustments. It just hasn't been done by the factory, or maybe the factory was in Indonesia or on the West Coast, and now it's gone to the East Coast or Australia. Maybe it's an old guitar which developed a problem. Could be a weather-related problem like neck relief. Could be broken parts, output jacks, pots, oxidation, cold solders. It could be guitars needing adjustments from modifications like string changes or drop tunings, and then the guitar goes haywire, they bring it to you. Or a guitar with a bad setup from somebody else or a botched setup from the owner. It's usually high action or low action. String buzz goes hand in hand with either one of those. Broken parts won't stay in tune. We got one right here. That was the complaint. Scratchy electronics been messed with by someone without experience. Pricing for setups, you can start off by offering free services to your family or friends if you want to. People at church just to get some practice if you need that for your confidence. If you've got over 30 guitars, I'm sure you can get enough practice on your own guitars and develop that confidence there. I did a grand opening special. It was a long grand opening special, $30 to $50 setups. I gradually raised my prices. I was very shy in the beginning. Regular pricing goes between $50 and $120. I routinely see that around. What's included in a setup is general maintenance. So you clean the guitar up, especially the fretboard measurements and adjustments. You're gonna do the neck relief and then do the string height action, make sure it plays as good as it can, and then dial it in. So you're actually going to use your ears to listen to it for buzzes and use your tactile senses to check it for high action. You're actually going to make a subjective kind of judgment on it. And then there's the final cleaning where you just get all the fingerprints off of it and do a really good job before you put it in the case. General maintenance involves fret polishing, fretboard oil or cleaning, and guitar cleaning. I say cleaning and not polishing because I don't use any cream polishes on guitars if I'm just doing a setup. I don't recommend that you do either. It's another expense. And I do electronic cleaning with deoxit. Measurements and adjustments are neck relief, string action, intonation, nut height. Nothing too crazy with that. And then dial it in. Final cleaning is make it play as good as you can, which is lowest action, lowest buzz, and give it back to the customer in tune and cleaned. Your assessment, is the guitar broken? I like to always ask that question. Is this guitar actually going to play after I go through the setup? Is it missing parts? Is it going to be worth your time? Is there anything else wrong with it, like the nut, the bridge, anything that will stop you from performing a setup? The first thing you're going to do is make a decision about strings. I guess the second thing after the initial assessment. Are you going to take them off or are you going to leave them on? That's the very first thing I think about. If you're going to leave them on, you can tape them out of the way. If you're loosen them up and cut them off is the very first thing that you're going to do in the setup. Uh, Now that strings are off, it's a great time to polish the frets, oil or clean the fretboard, and then clean the electronics. You'll be able to easily access all that stuff. You want to restring the guitar very neatly and cleanly. I wrap under, and I'll show you guys that every time. It's really a fast way and it has good tuning stability. My customers have never complained. Tune the guitar to the desired tuning. You got to make sure that you know the tuning that the customer wants, whether it's a E or E flat or drop D or something. You want to ask if you're unsure. Stretch the strings until they don't go out of tune anymore. It could be 5 to 8 times. I've been using these Diodario nickel wounds for a couple of years now. Absolutely love them. I don't get any breakage, hardly whatsoever, just about zero. Cheap strings will break whenever you're stretching them. I don't stretch the high G string on a 12 string guitar because it's too tight. I think I had to add that. You may have to adjust the springs on a tremolo guitar. If the bridge cocks up like this, you tighten the springs. It's very intuitive. You tighten them up and the bridge comes down and you can see it. If the bridge sinks, then you loosen up the springs and it comes back up. And if you've tightened the springs all the way and the bridge is still cocked up and you've got it all the way tight, then you need to add more springs to it. And if you've already got 5 springs and it's tightened up all the way, still cocked up, probably have to change the type of spring. But let's hope it doesn't go that far. After you've got your guitar, really, you've got it cleaned up, restrung, it's in tune, and the strings are stretched. After all of that, then I measure neck relief. And that's capo first fret, finger on the last fret, 0.010 feeler gauge. You want to adjust the truss rod until the neck relief is 0.010. And that's sometimes you don't have to adjust it at all. You're going to measure the string action at the 17th fret. All this has to be done in order, in this specific order, or else you're going to mess it up. You have no capo on the guitar, and you're going to check the string action at the 17th with your string action gauge. And you're looking for the bottom of the string to hit right above the 1.5. And so it's about 1.6. 1.6 for the wound strings, 1.5 for the unwound strings. So your string action effectively will be like 1.6 to 1.5 millimeters at the 17th fret. Check your string height at the nut. You want to use your string height gauge. You can use the side of it like this, that's graduated by 0.5 millimeters. And you put one side of this on one fret, the other side of it on the other fret, and you look to see where the low E string or where each string, where the bottom of those strings, where they land on this gauge. And you want to see it land right on that 0.5 millimeter mark, which is it's really hard to see, but that's how you check that. You don't want any buzzing in the open position. One of the things you're going to check if the guitar has the appropriate string action and the appropriate neck relief, then you should not have any buzzing in the open position. If you do, it's going to be a nut issue. The nut will be fine on most guitars, especially on new guitars. They usually are pretty dialed in these days. If you see like a 1 millimeter or it feels too high, it may need adjusting or filing. This would likely happen on like a parts caster guitar with somebody with a new nut. Somebody could have maybe needed a new nut, installed it themselves, but didn't have the files to file it. It could be even, I've seen some Fender Squires just recently that had really high action at the nut, but normally they'll be okay. It could be an older guitar, maybe that's seen a lot of action at the nut, or maybe had somebody try to file it down and ended up doing it too low. like the guy right before you or the guy's buddy who said, man, I can make that play better for you. And then he botched it. So if it is buzzing in the open position, it's probably going to be a nut. If the string height is high at the nut, which it's not usually, you can file the nut slots with nut slotting files, which is a little bit too risky. It's a little bit risky because you could go too low, or you can remove the nut and sand the bottom until the string height is normal. And I would recommend that, especially if you don't have $100 to buy nut slotting files. Like you're in the beginning of this course and you're just doing setups, and I promised you it'd be economical, and now you got to do nuts. I would probably recommend going the route of using sandpaper. And that way you don't have to buy the files right off the bat. But at the end of this setup, you're going to play it and you're going to check for buzzes. So you're going to have it tuned. The bridge is going to be level. If it's a tremolo guitar, everything's going to be perfect to the best of your ability. And you're going to play it each fret and you're going to check it for buzzes. And then you're going to ask yourself a couple of questions. Is the string buzzing too much? Do I need to raise it up a little bit? Could the string action be a little lower without incurring significant buzz? So I ask that myself every single time, could I lower the action a little bit or is it going to buzz too much? And a lot of times I'll just do a little experiment. Or you could ask yourself, does it need slightly more neck relief? Like sometimes you could have it at 0.010, but you're just feeling that, especially from the third to the eighth fret, that you're just getting a wee bit too much buzz. And you can experiment with a little more neck relief just to see if that extra little bit reduces the buzz without giving you the quack up in the high frets. So I would encourage you to do some experimentation with your strings. I do this all the time on G strings, A strings, D strings, just to find the optimum height so that you really do have the least amount of buzz and the lowest action. What it almost invariably turns out to be is that 1.5, 1.6. I may have to go up to 1.75, especially on E's and A's sometimes. But normally, really, those unwound strings can sit right at that 1.5 mark. But I had one recently that was on 1.25, and man, that thing played great. So I left it there. Didn't no fret out or anything. But it was like a 12-inch radius fretboard, so it was almost flat. So the action could be really low. Some special situations, maybe there's high E fret out. You may need to raise the string a bit. I also had that scenario happen where the high E was fretting out. It was a 9.5-inch radius. I had to raise the high E to 1.75 millimeters, which is a little weird, but I had to do it. Maybe the low E is buzzing too much. You might have to raise it. Maybe a string is buzzing in the open position. You have to replace the nut. I have a bass in here that I've got to do tomorrow in that scenario. Drop tunings and wobble. If you've got a drop tuning and you put the string height at 1.6 and it is just way too floppy, raise it up. Go to 2. Go to 2.5 if that's what you need. If it's like drop A or something. It'll still be easy as long as it's easy to press the strings, then you'll be okay. Especially with those drop tunings, it's still easy to press them. You can raise them up high, not so high that the intonation doesn't work. So intonation is something I do one of the last things. Play the string open and then fret it at the 12th. I just do fretting. I don't do any of the harmonics. If the string is sharp, then you lengthen the string. It's 2 rules, very easy to remember. So if you're trying to do the E and it's showing up F, if it's going sharp, then you're going to lengthen the string. So you're going to tighten your intonation screw and you're going to move it that way. If the string is going flat, if it goes to D sharp or D or something like that, then you are going to move it closer. You're going to shorten the string. So you're going to move your intonation screw that way. And do that a couple of times with a couple of guitars and you'll have that memorized. It's not a big deal. Using a string tree, I find this is optional. The string tree I'm talking about is the one that's kind of looks like an upside down umbrella or something. I find it's optional. You can use it to double check your radius, place it under the strings and check to see if the strings touch the tree So you'll put the tree underneath the strings and then you'll pluck the strings. And if the strings are ringing clearly, then you got a problem. But what should happen is the string tree mutes the strings whenever you pluck them. What if it buzzes badly in some spots after the setup? Check the frets with a fret rocker to find uneven frets. If you find some, you may want to do a fret dressing. You can always, I'll cover this later in the course, but you can contact the customer and say it's going to be 50 bucks more or whatever for a fret dressing. It's a level crown and polish. Get back in touch with the customer, let them know. If nothing bad happens, it does need a fret dressing. Clean the guitar. I use guitar cleaner only, not scrubbing it with a ton of polish. It's more work and it's more product. I don't do any metal parts unless the customer asks me to. So I don't use like metal polish on pickups, bridges, none of that stuff unless the customer asks. Whenever the customer comes to get the guitar, I'm going to present the guitar to the customer. I'm going to take it out of the case and everything, show it to him. It has to be clean and you want it to be in tune whenever the customer picks it up. So that's the final parts to a setup, or the end result to a setup.
Eric,
Yeah.
are you going to cover an acoustic setup versus electric that you just did?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
The reason I'm asking, and this might be a good info thing for our new team members. So I'm getting a lot of acoustics, and so the question I have for you is on a setup for an acoustic versus an electric. If you got high action on an acoustic, you have to physically file down the saddle, to get the desired string. That's a lot of work versus backing off on some saddles on electric for that action. So my question to you, is there a price difference on the setup for you? Because it's a lot more work.
No, in fact, it's cheaper. Acoustics is cheaper for me. So I charge 89 for an electric, 79 for an acoustic.
So
And
could lower
what
that action, though. That's my question.
So what normally happens with an acoustic, the normal scenario is that it needs a truss rod adjustment, and that's pretty much it.
But when that's spot on and the action is still like a millimeter high, the only thing that I've figured out is to sand down the saddle to get it down to where it needs to be. So am I?
You are
So,
correct. You could
yeah.
charge extra for that. If you don't want to include it, you could charge extra. What I do not charge extra, and I also ask the customer if they want me to sand down or if they allow me to sand down the saddle because so most guitars, the saddles are calibrated correctly, where they're at a distance where you can use a capo on the guitar like at the fifth fret and it won't buzz. Now the action might you can usually adjust the truss rod so the action will go to 2.5 to 2.75. If you can't do that, or if it buzzes too much whenever you do that with the truss rod, then you back off on the truss rod and you're going to have to do the saddle a little bit. Ask your customer if they want you to do that because it could make it where with a capo they'll get a ton of buzz. So you're in that tricky spot. If you talk to the customer ahead of time and they say, yeah, do whatever you can to lower the action, then yeah, you
Yeah.
got to pay in the saddle. You could always charge them 20 bucks or 30 bucks extra to do it. To me, it doesn't take that long. If I started it and I didn't stop and I didn't get distracted, I bet it would take me less than 5 minutes of sanding.
Well, let me tell you this. I've done two this week, and let me tell you, to get to sand a millimeter off, it took me, when I mark it, because you don't want to go too far too fast, and
Yeah.
you sand it, and then you got to put it back in to and everything up, and it's a pain in the ass. That's what I'm saying. It's a
I think
lot.
you should ease that pain in your ass and you should take it away a little bit and charge the customer.
Okay,
Uh,
that's what I'm asking because
in in the big swing of things, and that's an individual decision that you can make. In the big swing of things for me, I have so many acoustic guitars that don't really take that much Basically just a restring, clean it up and adjust the truss rod and it plays okay again. Maybe 1 out of 10 will need that bridge adjustment. So it's almost like whenever I do get a bridge adjustment, I'm like, oh, I'm paying my dues for the other 9 that didn't need anything.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had
again,
a customer pick one up today that I actually lowered it a millimeter, and it was a nice Taylor, and he was so freaking happy with it, and he out the door and woo. But
right.
so just something I wanted to bounce off of you.
Yeah. I do a lot of Martins here. I do some Taylors. I'm like referring those out. What else do I do a lot of? I'll do it like Yamaha. I see Takamine. But yeah, and honestly, by the time they've gotten to me, a lot of them have had their saddles shaved down too already.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
No.
yeah, we'll have to go over that in detail one day because acoustic setups, you do get some. I think I measured it at about 25% were acoustic setups. I've got all electrics in here right now. I got one classical, so I got 8 electrics and one classical.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up for
You bet.
sure.
Appreciate
Ease
it.
the team, man. Say, look, I had to do significant amount of work here and got to pay me for it. Measurement. So here's the tools, and you can go to, it's in your course, Guitar Repair Business Starter / setup tools, measurement tools. If you guys want that tech mat that I'm always using, that everybody's asking about, there's the link for that Revive the Roar tech mat made by Philip Masidi. Feeler gauges. These are an essential tool. You'll see on this website, I've got some tools labeled essential and then some tools labeled professional. You don't necessarily have to buy right now, but it's something that you could strive to later on. And it's something that you may not absolutely need right now, but the essential things you need: string action gauge, capo. But if you have one, don't buy it. Polishing papers, you need that. It's an essential supply. Fretboard protectors, essential. So it's all clearly labeled. Deoxit, nothing works quite that good. Guitar cleaner, fretboard oil. If you want to use the cheapest fretboard oil, I think Dunlop 65 is, but don't get into like olive oil and bear fat or something like that, or bacon oil or something. I have some alternatives to fret polishing. Some people do want to use like those cream fret polishing. Freen is okay, it's really expensive. Autosaw is the one I really like. You'll see me use that a lot. But those are just like alternatives to fret polishing. Microfiber polishing papers is what I recommend. They're very clean. As far as screw driving goes, the Stumac screwdriver set is fantastic, but it's $40 if you don't have it discounted. But you can always probably get by with some of your screwdrivers that you have in your house in the beginning, but that screwdriver set is really good. Tools for adjustment, you're going to need like an Allen wrench set, nut driver set, Gibson truss rod tool, essential, Martin truss rod tool, essential. If you're going to do a lot of Martins, I think you will. So go through this website and get what you need. Made in Mexico truss rod tool. This is, you don't absolutely need it, but it's very nice to have as far as after you get in business and you're doing a lot of guitars and you're going to do a lot of made in Mexico. So it's, you have this tool, it's perfect. It's really close and you can work really quickly. That's why I included that. Same way with the Fender USA truss rod tool. That's why I included that. After you're balling and you can afford it, go ahead and buy it. The nut driver set you may be able to do without if you just buy like that Gibson tool. I've been running into a couple of PRS lately that require the other type of tool. I think it's a 7 millimeter or something nut driver. Let's see. String winding. I use the drill bit peg winder with a screwdriver, an automatic screwdriver. You'll want like a regular peg winder. You'll definitely need some wire cutters. Regular peg winders work well with like vintage tuners. I still use them a lot. I would say I would recommend get yourself a nice cordless screwdriver. That way you can make your winding very quick, which I think that you want to do. As far as investing in any tools or anything going forward with any business, try and invest in things that'll make your life easier, or like you'll be able to finish your task faster or do it cheaper. That's what I would invest in. And that's what that cordless screwdriver is on. Okay, what time is it? I gotta go at 7:30, but we got 35 minutes to do a guitar. I got a really special one here. I would love, like, this is one of the guitars I'd like to own one day. And it is a Duesenberg made in Germany, I think. It says made in Germany. It says German and USA registered trademarks. So quite sure. I thought they were made in Germany. It's really nice. It's a hollow body. It's very light. Definitely got some, I guess this is like maple in the back. I'm not really sure what it's made out of, but super nice. I think these are pretty expensive. I like all the little like metal things that they have on them and everything. Super cool.
Very
Sorry.
deco.
Yeah. I
Got those
saw
art deco little touches to it.
they are, yeah. I saw what this face, Johnny Depp playing one of these. He plays these in the Hollywood Vampires band. Cool. Okay, so this guy's given me a set of strings here. Elixirs. As far as I measured that, as far as strings that customers brought, Elixirs was the number one string that customers provided themselves. I think that has gotten skewed over time because I really think it's those Ernie Ball regular slinkies now because it seems to be what's been showing up. But I get a fair amount of NYXL. Customers bring me like nice strings. So first decision I made was strings. I should probably plug this in and see what it sounds like. No scratchiness. Oh yeah, it works perfect. Nothing wrong with the jack. I didn't expect anything would be wrong with this. Oh man, this got one of those. I'll just show this to you. This bridge is nice. Happy to see this. Instead of the normal Bixby wraparound deal, it has this little hold strings. Probably works a lot better. Now I don't have to bend the strings over or anything. I don't know if this is actually a Bixby's. Maybe it's like a Duesenberg bridge. Kind of cool. These tuners are awesome too. Look at these. Nice. They feel very sturdy too.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've actually been taught by a couple of people on setups, and I've watched lots of videos, like I'm sure most everybody has, and I've seen it done both ways. But do you prefer to put new strings on a guitar before you set it up, or do you do the setup with the old strings on, and then once it's all dialed in, put the new strings on it?
That's a good question because I have done it that way. If the new strings are going to be the same exact gauge, same exact strings, brand, and everything, then you can do it that way. Yeah. But I put the new strings on and then set it up with the new strings, the same strings that are going to be on it whenever I give it back to the customer. I don't want to set the guitar up twice is the reason, but yeah, I have done it that way for sure, where I set it up with the old strings, but I know that the new strings are exactly the same. But if you don't know that the strings are exactly the same, you're going to run the risk of having to do it twice. I hate to do more work than I have to. Okay, so we've got these strings off and we can do a couple of things. We can clean right here. Most likely needs to be cleaned. And also, if we're down here, check these are super tight. But I do usually check them with my fingers. If you feel any give, then I get out the pliers. All right. Since the strings are off, we can go ahead and polish the frets and do the fretboard, which is going to give it that new, really clean appearance. For this demonstration, I'm going to do, I like these fretboard papers, microfiber fretboard papers. And the two that I really like are the green and the blue. One that the green kind of takes off all the big stuff, and then the blue does a nice job polishing. This has a bit of light oxidation on there. Yeah, this green pad is just totally taking off like butter.
Who makes those papers? They're not Zona, are they?
Yeah, Zona.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. That brought them back to life there. And then I'll use the blue. Just gonna polish them up. You want to do your frets first and then do your fretboard oil. You're gonna see that you'll see these like light rubbing marks. And after you put the oil on, it's just gonna remove all that. Else lately. I think this, I'm not sure if this is rosewood. I think this is Peau Ferro. Could be, maybe rosewood. Yes, it is. You don't want to slather this thing up with oil and then give it back to your customer like greasy. So make sure you spend a bit of time getting all the excess off. Then you don't see any of those little smudge marks or anything from polishing the frets. All that's disappeared. It's all gone with the oil. You can clean here also in there. It's essential. I'm going to do this dry, but if you need some cleaner, you can spray your cloth with cleaner. Get in here. String this. What time is it, guys? 7:12. German guitars, man. Who knew the Germans made guitars? Sold all my gear, man, all the amp stuff, everything over past week. All my cabinets, all that stuff. Place is like empty now. Need some more stuff to sell. As soon as I sold the Marshall amp, I immediately wanted another one. Immediately, I started looking up. I was like, if I sell all this stuff, then maybe I could have a significant down payment on a Marshall, and maybe, I don't know, figure out a way to, if I had a significant down payment, then that would somehow give me the right to buy it. I don't know. Talk myself out of it, but I was really close to buying a Silver Jubilee 25 or something like that. JMP or
Not
JCM.
cheap.
They're not cheap. No. I'm telling you, I am pretty darn close. I'm not gonna do it though.
It'll empty your wallet too quick.
I'm like, do I want to build one, or do you want to buy one already built? It's probably cheaper to buy one already built. I'm always worried about if I build one, is it going to be like buzzy?
Have you checked out the 20-watt versions of them?
Yeah, I done a lot of reading about 20 watts, the 25-watt versions. And honestly, I think I want the bigger output transformer. I think I'd rather go with like the 50-watt with a master volume. I think that would be okay, but I don't know. I'm more actively trying to talk myself out of it than talk myself into it, because the last thing I need is a gigantic Marshall. But that's what I dream about every night before I go to sleep. So we've got the guitar strung up. Now we're gonna tune it. These tuners are fantastic.
I've started buying multi-packs of individual strings.
Oh yeah. The high E's, nines, tens, and then the acoustic G. Acoustic G will break on you all the time. So after you got the guitar in tune, stretch them. thing about stretching strings is you'll find the first time you stretch them, they go way out of tune. Maybe 3 half steps. The next time they'll go 2 half steps, and the next time 1 half step out of tune. So it gets better and better. It helps after you finish with the setup. During the setup, it'll stay in tune. When you're finished with the setup, you put it in the case, the gig bag, it'll stay in tune longer, and you don't have to do that much last minute tuning before the customer's gonna come, which is usually me like hurrying up about 4 seconds before the customer arrives. It's not going out of tune very far now, just maybe like a quarter of a half step. Keep going. I like it where it just doesn't go out of tune at all. 719. Okay. Plays great. Go ahead and take the neck relief, which is capo 1st fret, right there, and then finger last fret. Whoa, there is almost no neck relief, very little. Let's see, it looks like we've got, oh my goodness, we've got 4mm. So I'm gonna loosen it a touch. It's about 1/8, and then I can immediately take the neck relief measurement. Oh, getting better. It's like a good bit there. I think the truss rod in this worked in small increments. Let's go ahead and it was a very smooth turn. The truss rod had a nice. Everything on this guitar seems to work very nice. Okay, so my action is 1.75 on the low E. 1.75 everywhere. Yep, everywhere. So I want to lower this bridge just by a hair. I just want to adjust it a quarter. It's got thumb wheels. See that thumb wheel right there? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's made for your thumb. It's very, well, it wasn't that bad. A little bit more. Actually worked really well. It's not hard at all to move it. I'm a little high on the high E. That high. Okay. I've got the string height done. I've got the neck relief done. You saw me set that 0.010. This is at 1.6. And we'll go ahead and retune the guitar. Turn the electronics off, and I'll see if you guys can make it where you can hear it. I'm gonna check this guitar for buzzes. I don't know if you guys can really hear, but the low side is a little buzzy, just slightly, which I was predicting that with the E and the A. So I'm gonna go up to 1.75 on that low end, leave it at 1.5 on the high end because it sounds fine. Retune. I mean, I would expect the E and the A on just about any guitar are going to be slightly buzzy, so it's not ever going to be 100% buzz free, and that's where this guitar is. The pickup is a touch high. I'm going to bring it's probably about 2mm from the top of the pole piece to the bottom of the string, which is about where I like to do it. It's a little bit high. Honestly, it could be pulling that string down. Go ahead and try it with the electronics on. Sorry for the poor playing. Plays good. See how bad it goes out of tune whenever I use the whammy bar. Alright. Not bad. Let's do the intonation real quick. Alright, no more of that. Plays good. Intonation's fixed. Go ahead and put he said he was concerned about it going out of tune. I am thinking that it's probably the whammy bar that's causing it. So I might lay into it a bit tomorrow. I might spend a little time playing this tomorrow, do some quality control on it. So I might see if I can use the whammy a bit to get it used to the whammy bar. Okay guys, any questions? I gotta go in 1 minute. I can hear dishes being put on the table upstairs. I'll have this up within the next couple of days. So you can expect a rerun of this. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Have a great night.